Hi, I'm Leon Moores. I'm a practicing pediatric neurosurgeon and the president of the physician enterprise here at Inova. In that role, I'm responsible for helping physicians and physician practices across the system better take care of patients, which is, of course, our top priority here. My father was in the Air Force, and there was a little bit of interest in the military based upon seeing my dad and what he was doing, but he left the Air Force when I was 6 years old. So there's a big gap in between observing that and my interest, which was piqued by a guidance counselor in high school. Robert Gilligan, as I was starting to apply to colleges with my intent of going to medical school, said to me, "Hey, you're captain of this and president of that. Why don't you think about going to West Point?" And I looked at him and I remember to this day that I said, "I want to go to college. I don't want to join the Army." And he said, "No, dummy, West Point is a college and you can go there. And I think they have a program where you can go to medical school." So I looked at the catalog, went up, absolutely fell in love with the place, the teamwork, the camaraderie, and ended up starting on this journey because of a random event from a guidance counselor. So my time in uniform added up to 33 years if you include the Hudson High Reform School for Wayward Boys and Girls known as West Point. After graduation from West Point, I had been accepted to medical school, but because I had kind of had my head shaved and I ran up and down the street for 4 years singing "I Want to Be an Airborne Ranger," it's kind of like joining a cult. You actually start thinking you do want to be an Airborne Ranger. So I asked for a deferment from the medical school where I was accepted, my first choice at the Uniformed Services University here in Bethesda, to go out and do a tour as an infantry officer. So I did that and spent some time with the 82nd Airborne Division and jumping out of airplanes and running around in the woods. I refer to it as my government-sponsored Outward Bound program, and really was having so much fun there, really meaningful work, that I almost didn't go to medical school. But my mom's a nurse, and she said, "You will go to medical school. You got accepted. Go to medical school." So I did. Graduated from the Uniformed Services University, did a residency in neurosurgery, a pediatric neurosurgery fellowship, all of which the military paid for in exchange for a mere 29 years of service to follow. Gradually became the chief of neurosurgery at Walter Reed, then the chairman of the Department of Surgery at Walter Reed, and then morphed those roles into some executive positions, command and deputy command positions, leading large organizations within the military before I retired in 2013. I think there are several things that really have stayed with me from my military career. The first and foremost is the concept of others before self. In the Army, we don't let the commander eat until the troops have eaten. You don't sleep until you know they've slept, and you don't get your personal needs taken care of until you know they're taken care of. And that's a very powerful message, and it's consistent throughout the career. The other for me is leadership development, coaching others, either in small groups or in large organizations, and helping other folks be better at influencing others in order to achieve a desired result. The fundamental definition of leadership is influencing others' behavior, and the way you do that in a positive, sustainable manner can have a tremendously positive impact on organizations, and I think that's a really, really fun thing to continue to experience, and I've had the fortunate opportunity to do that here at Inova. So I had the opportunity, fortunately, to select individuals for leadership roles within this and other systems where I've worked, and that's a very important responsibility. I consider the chief executive or the president's primary function is to get the right people on the bus, and then the immediate second function is to align everybody's work and purpose to meet the needs of the organization. While I certainly do look at candidates with a military background and say, oh, we probably share some things in common, I think the most important qualities are consistent regardless of backgrounds, and the military is not unique in being able to build character, service, others before self. So while the traits I learned in the military, I recognize that those can be learned anywhere from your parents, your pastor, your prior job experiences, and there are those traits that when we look for people to lead within our organizations, military or civilian, that are very, very consistent and not unique to military service.